Hey guys, welcome back to part 6 of this series. Today we're going to continue building this e-commerce website. So I have added a few new tasks since the last time. I just went through the page or project and thought about this a little bit. So we need to make it possible to separate the shoppers from the vendors. And vendors needs to be able to see their orders in their store, and they have to be able to see how much they have earned. Then after that we need to implement the payment gateway and then deploy the project to a live server. Maybe later I'm going to add more things to this project because I have gotten a lot of good suggestions from you. So let's see how far we can get today. First task today is to fix the design on the cart page. So if I just go to the browser and to the cart, then you will see here that this doesn't look very good. So first let me just add a few things here. Add to the cart, and chewing toy, add to the cart. So if I now go to cart, yes, that's where I was, then you can see that this does not look good. And we need a button to proceed to the checkout. So I decided to add a camera to the videos so I can have more interactions with you. I hope I'm not too awkward. So if I go back to the code now, then we can open up the store/cart view. And then we can begin with the button that will take us to the sign out, the checkout page. So let's add an HR and an href. It can just be empty for now. Class, inline block. So the padding and margins are fixed for this button. PX 8, PY 4, BG teal 500, and text should be white. Checkout and save. So if I refresh now, you'll see that I got this and the HR. We just need some space here so it looks a little bit better. You can add that to the HR, MT4 and MB4. And save. Refresh. Here is also a great time for us to see if the user is authenticated or not, because only authenticated users should be able to proceed to the checkout, but we will come back to that later. But it reminds me that I need to add it as a task here. Only authenticated users can proceed to the checkout. And save. Great. So let me just close a little bit of this. Go back to the cart view. So this does not look good right now. I need a better table for the products here. I think I can use the notification for them. So instead of just a paragraph, I can say div. Close that correctly. Notification. And go back. That did not work. No, sorry, I'm not in... I was thinking about Bulma and not Tailwind. So here I can say PX 4, PY 4, and then BG teal 100. That will give a very light green color for each of the products. And then we can add some more space up to the title or below it, MB6. Better. And maybe this can also get an HR above. I like HRs. Class MT4, MB4. Like that. So instead of increase and decrease, we should have icons or buttons. Let's create buttons first. So just remove the text like that. And the quantity can be between these two. So let's just have a div here for some wrapping. And then we can say on these two, this one and this one, class PX or just P2. Rounded XL and BG teal 500, text white and save. Let me look and see what that looks like. Okay, it's a little bit better. And I want some, we can then remove this quantity. Okay, and we don't have to say that this is the title for the product. That should be obvious, but we can add the h2 class text 2 times XL and close the h2. Oops. I removed the curly braces. Great, like that. And then we want some space between these. So class empty4. So I'm just doing this as I go now, so I don't have any plans for this, but at least it looks better than it was before. And instead of remove from cart, maybe we should have a trash icon. So if I just go to hero icons, you can find an SVG there. Trash. Search. Okay. There. Copy SVG. And paste it in here. And then this is already compatible with Tailwind. As you can see here, we get the width 6 and height 6. So if I save now and go back to the cart and refresh, we should now have a SVG there for deleting this. Nice. But we don't want this to be on that button, so we need to add a clause to this link, clause inline block, and save. So refresh. That did not help very much. Inline block, maybe if you say AMB4 on that. Nice. So that looks a little bit better, but what if on the left side here we have the image of the product? So we want this to be on the left of everything. So div, and then we set the div here as well. Oops. Fix the indentation for this, like that. And then here we can say img src. And then we get the image by just saying item.product.thumbnail. I think that's the correct one. Let me see this here, partial, what we do there. Image.url, but we want the thumbnail. So get thumbnail was the function we created in one of the previous parts. So save, refresh. Okay, so now we have the image there, but they should be next to each other. So I think I can say flex. Okay, and then we want this to be on the middle of the image. So to do that we say items, no, align center. No, that did not work. Items center. Yes, correct. And then we just need some space between the image and that one. So to do that, we can say here class PL6. So padding on the left side should be 6, like that. So that looks better, but I think the image is a little bit too big. So we can add a class to this and say W12. Maybe that's a size, maybe a little bit too small. 20 is not, yes, okay, that looks much better. So now we can proceed to the next step, I think. So if I click plus now, this updates and similar. Maybe we should also show the price for this single product. So in the cart, you can have that, maybe we can have it below the title. So p class text sm text gray, and then item dot product, oops, dot price, get price, which will give us the correct, no, get price. Okay, let me go into the model. Get display price is the correct name. So go back and refresh, and then we have it there. This did not work. Maybe it's gray with an E. Gray 500. Gray 500 maybe. Yes, better. So now we have the price. We can increase and decrease the quantity, and everything here is now working. Just want to add the dollar sign at the beginning of the prices, so everything is working. Nice. So now the cart looks at least better. I'm not the designer, but at least this is working now. So if I then go back to the to-do list, I can set the task for this to done. Before I continue, I just want to say thanks to all of my patrons. If you too want to support me, you will find a link in the description below. Next step then is to create the checkout page. This is where we fill out the contact information and similar. So we can begin with the view for this. Then we can use the login required, but this is the wrong views. I should be in the views file inside the store, of course. So here we can add this below the cart view. Def checkout request, and then we can just return render request and store/checkout.html. We don't need to pass in anything here yet, but I want to add the login required decorator so that if the user goes directly to this URL without being authenticated, you should be redirected to the login page. So then I need to fix this error by importing from django.contrib.auth.decorators import login required. So then the error is gone. Nice. So then we can add this to the URLs so it's available in the front end. Path, I want it to be cart/checkout, views.checkout, and the name for this is also checkout, and save. So that means that I now can update this button, URL checkout, and save. So if I go back now, refresh, I can click checkout, but then I'm redirected to a page that doesn't exist. So as you can see here, we have this URL, but Django tries to use this, which is the default URL for Django. So I can fix that by opening up settings.py. Login redirect URL. Okay, I need to set the login URL to just login, which is the name we have there. So if I go back now, refresh, click checkout, then I'm presented with the login screen. Nice. I can try to log in now, then I'm back to my account, and if I then go to cart/checkout, then I get the template does not exist. So that is the next step to fix that. Can make a copy of the top part of cartview.html, create a new file called checkout.html and paste it here. Checkout, checkout, and block, and save. So then I will see the title. Here I just want to print out the total price of the cart and the form to fill out the information, and then at the bottom a button to proceed to the payout to the payment gateway. So below here I can say h2 class text XL and text gray 500 total price, total cost, cart.get total cost. And now the cart isn't available here, so we need to make it available by initializing the cart like this, and then we can add it to the context, cart, and save. So if I now refresh, you'll see the total cost of the cart is $319. Nice. Add the $sign as well, like that. So then below here we need to get information from the user. We want the first name, last name, the address, zip code and the city. You can add more fields if you want, like email, phone number and similar, but I'm just going to do the basic fields and then you can add more if you want to. So to do that we need to create a new model for the orders. So if I scroll to the bottom of models.py, we can say class order, pass in models.model. And then the first thing we need to do here is to have a reference to the user object. So created by equals models.foreign key, pass in user and set the related name equals orders, and on delete models dot set null, because we don't want to delete orders if a user is deleted. So then we also need to set blank equals true. And then we also want to know when the order was created at equals models dot date time field, auto now add is true. Great. So then we have this information, but then we want a field for the first name, models.char field. Max length can be set to 255. Just make a copy of this, rename it to last name, and one for the address, one for the zip code, and one for the city. So here you can also add email and whatever you want to get the information you need. And now that that is done, we need to update the database. Actually, sorry, I need to add a few more fields here. I want to have the price, so total cost, models.integer field. We can default this to 0. And is paid equals models.boolean field, default equals false, because we want to create the order before we send the user to Stripe or PayPal and similar. And before they are sent there and everything is okay, the order will be set to is paid. And then I think we also get an ID from Stripe. I don't remember the name, but we can just say merchant ID or similar. So models dot char field, max length can be 255. We should also have a list of all the products here. So, oops. I think we need one more table, class order item, models.model. I just want to go to the repository on GitHub to see what I have done here previously. It's not always easy to remember everything like this. So Nordic Homes order models.py. Then I have information about the user, when it was created, the paid amount. Okay, we can take that as well, just so I have it. And don't have the total cost, but this instead. Status is just if it's ordered or shipped. You can add that too if you want to. And then we have the order item. Yes. So here I have a reference to the order, like that, and what product the order item is for, the price for the product, and the quantity. So then we can save this and update the database. Oops. Okay, I think I've already fixed it because I set the set null is true. So then I can say Python mentioned by make migrations No, that did not work. Cannot be null. Created by. Null is true. Sorry. So then we can run this again, and also the migrate command. Great, so now we can run the server again, and we can register these two models in the admin.py. So import order and order item, admin.site.register order, and admin.site.register order item, and save. Great, so now these should be available in the admin interface. And then, since we now have a model for the forms, we now have a model for the orders, we can create a form to use. So in the store, we already have a forms.py. Here we need to import order, and then we can say class order form forms.modelForm. Class meta for configuration. Now we set model equals order, and the fields we want to use here is first name, last name, address, zip code, and city. First name, last name, address, zip code and city. 2 Ds there. Zip code, city, and all of these others are going to be added at a later point. So this is everything now. So then I can open up the views.py in the store app and import the form we just created. So from.forms import order form. And inside the checkout, we can initialize this form equals order form and pass it into the front end so we can use it there. Save. So everything should still be working. Yes, nice. So then we can go to the cart view. I just want to copy this button so I have it. Just remember to replace this with a button and not an anchor tag. Button. Now we can add the form. So form method should be set to post, and action can be set to the page we are on. So just use a dot. This closing tag should be after the button, and then I fix the indentation. And we need to add a CSRF token tag for security. So if I go back now, I should see the checkout button. Nice. Then the next step is to show the form. I think I can open up settings, signup.html. No. Okay, let me just say form.sp and save. So then we have it here. It doesn't look good, but the styling for this will be fixed in a different part. So now that that is done, we need to do some more checks at the back end, because if I click this now, we just get the default browser validation. But I want to check here if the form is submitted. So if request.method is post, then we can say form equals order form and pass in the request.post data. If not, we just initialize an empty form. If form.is valid, then we know that the user has filled out the fields we have here and everything there is okay. And after this, we can say return, redirect, and send the user back to my account, just so it's out of sight like that. The redirect function is imported. So let me just check this. Check out. Yes, so I was sent there, but it's still not working because we are not creating an order or similar. So that is the next step. I just want to go into the here again just to see what I do when I create an order. So I import the cart, which I already done, and I have initialized it as well. And then I want to loop through the items, blah blah blah, and then I create a new order down here. So if this is done, I can say order equals order.objects.create. Okay, haven't imported this model yet. Order and order item. Maybe I should not do it like this. I should actually just say form.save and commit equals false, because we don't want to commit anything to the database yet, because then everything will just crash. Then I can set who created this, order.createdby equals request.user. And what other fields are we using? This is automatically, then it's these 6 fields I want. Sorry, these are added automatically, but I need to set the paid amount. So order.paidAmount equals, and then I need to get the information from the cart, which should just be total price. Okay, it looks like I actually need to create this manually here, because I haven't looped through it yet anyways. So total price, and then I loop through each of the items. Then I can get the product like that, just so I have it, and then I can calculate the total price. And I calculate the total price by multiplying the price of the product with the quantity for the item. And then down here I just say total price and order.save. So that should create a new order in the database. Then we need to take care of the order items. And then I just need to loop through the cart again. So below here, I do that. Get the product, get the quantity, and then the price, like that. So then I get the price for that item. And then I can create a new order item. And when I do that, I just say order item.objects.create, pass in the order we created there, say which product we want to connect this to, which we have here, the price, which is the quantity multiplied with the price, and then the quantity. And that when that is done, we want to clear the cart. I don't think I created that functionality yet, so if I just paste it there and save, we can create that now. So cart, yes, there are no clear function here. So def clear self, and then I need the code for this. So if I just go back to Nordic Homes, cart, and cart.py, then the clear functionality should delete the session ID from the session, and then we set self.session.modified is true. Then everything knows that this is updated. So save that, and then I think everything here should be okay. So if I save now, go back to the checkout page, refresh, Stein, health, address, zip code, set the checkout. Okay, so now I was sent to my account, and hopefully if I now go to cart, this is empty. Nice. So that means that it looks like this was working. I can log into the admin interface to check this. Admin. There. Okay, so if I now go to orders, there is one order from this person. The amount paid, $319. Nice. it's not set to paid, which is okay. So now we have functionality for checking out, and there was 2 order items. So I want to set this to done now. The implementation of the gateway should happen inside this functionality, but I don't want to go there yet. So now that that is done, we need a way to separate the shoppers from the vendors. And one more function we need to add is that up in the corner here, we need to have a button for going to the cart. So add cart button in menu, and this should also have the number of products you have in the cart and similar. So to separate the shoppers from the vendors, we can actually just go to user profiles and add one more field to the user profile. Is vendor equals models.boolean field. Default is false, because we don't want all users to be a vendor. We want the vendors to apply to become a vendor in the store. And when that is done, we can just stop the web server and update the make migrations again and migrate. Then run the server, and then I just want to show this my store button if you are a vendor. So to do that, we can open up base.html, and then here we say if request.user.userprofile.isVendor, then we show this. Okay, sorry, and close the end if like that. So save, refresh, and then the my store is gone because I am not a vendor. So now we can actually separate these two from each other. So that means that I can set this task as well to done. Okay, then the next step then is to add a new cart button in the menu. So we can just make a copy. I actually want this to be showing at all times, even if you are not authenticated. href. The URL is cart view, I think. And then we can make a copy of this class. Oops. Let me fix this. And cart. So if I go back now, refresh, we have the cart button there, which takes us to the cart. So then here we need to check the number of products we have, which is currently none because I set this to 0 hard-coded. So then we need to make the cart globally available. And to do that, we need to add something called a context processor. And the code for this is actually very simple. So if I then go back to the store app, create a new file, context processors.py, just paste in this. So we import the cart, and then we create a new cart function and pass it into a context like this, where we create an instance of the cart and set in the request. But it's still not available to be used in the templates because this needs to be configured in settings.py. So if I open up that here, you can see that if I just scroll down in the templates settings, then we have something called cart.contextprocessors.cart, and this is what makes it globally available. That is why, for example, messages and authentication information about the user is always available because they are added here as a context processor. So then I need to open up settings.py, scroll down, find templates, just add this to the bottom, but the app here is called store, and then this points to the file we created, and cart is this function here. And then that cart has this property available. So now I should be able to go to base.html and use it here. So here I should be able to cart, pipe this into length, I think, will give me the length of that cart. Refresh, it says 0. And if I go here now into product, add to cart, it now says 1. If I click this, it increases to 2, and it increases to 2 there as well. Nice. But maybe you should not call this cart. Maybe you should have a cart icon instead. So do you want the bag or the cart? We'll take the cart. Oops. SVG, next line, like that. And save. So everything there can be like it is, I think. Go back, refresh. Okay, the icons, and that should be on the same line. Maybe if I just add flex to this link, refresh, yes. Great, and space x3. Now we get some space between. That did not work. Maybe if I add a span to this number. Yes. Okay, so then we have the cart button available there. Nice. And if I just go to 0, when this is empty, I don't want to show the total cost. Here is just say you don't have any products in the cart yet. So let's open up cartview.html. Then we can do a check here. If cart.length, pipe length, then we are actually using the cart functionality. This one is actually the one that is being used and is built into all Python classes. So I think I can say it like this. I don't have to check the length and similar. And block. It's a little bit hard to have big enough text for you to read at the same time as I want to show as much code as possible. So I'm sorry if it's not always easy to see the code I'm writing, but I'm trying as good as I can. Else. Then here I can say div class notification. No, that's Bulma again. px6, py6, bg gray 5, maybe 300. And then you don't have any products in the cart yet. Refresh. Great. Then we just need to check that this is working. So add to cart, and yes. Nice. So then we have made that possible as well. So I can go to the to-do list now and set this task to done. The checkout functionality, I forgot to set that to done, but this is done now. So that was it, and that was everything I have time to do now. In the next part we will work more on the vendor functionality, because I want that when you go to my store you should see the orders which have products that you own, and similar you can see the total amount you have earned, if the amount has been paid to you, and similar. So I hope you enjoyed this part, and if you did, please hit like below and subscribe if you haven't done that already. See you in the next video.